Welcome to Samu't Sari, Conversations with Mimi, a weekly podcast by Social, also a member of the Guerrilla Podcast Syndicate. Samu't Sari is where we can show that ordinary people do extraordinary things. Tune in to be entertained and to learn something new with your host, Mimi Lorilla.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Samu't Sari Conversations with Mimi, a podcast featuring topics of interest for men and women alike, wherever you are in the world, both for Filipinos and non-Filipino listeners. We have people who are listening from Sudan. So, hello to the people in Sudan and to the people in New Zealand. This is Mimi, your host, and here at Samu't Sari, we aim to inspire you with stories from seemingly ordinary people who make extraordinary things and do a lot of extraordinary stuff. For season 2, I mentioned that we are talking to different professionals, different kind of professionals, the ones that are doing something very unique as freelancers, as work from home professionals, and as virtual assistants. And today is not an exception. Today I have here Miss Charms Trinidad.
Hello, everyone.
Online community engagement professional. So, si Charm, I will let her explain her role and who she is. Is she a singer? Does she like art? What her hobbies are? So, Charm, I'd like you to say hello first to our listeners and our viewers and tell me a little bit more about yourself.
Sure. Thank you, Miss Mimi. So, hello, everyone who's watching and who's listening to this edition. So, if I were you, I will hit the subscribe button and invite your friends and family to follow Miss Mimi because very wonderful ang mga sessions niya. About me, who am I? So, I'm just an ordinary person who likes to help people, who likes to create events and create engagement for groups. So I used to be part of an engagement group when I was working with a call center company. So we call ourselves the engagement core group. So what we normally do is we plan events for the employees. We give them recognition. So we also help out with the corporate activities. And then fast forward, I left the corporate world. I ventured into project coordination. So more or less, I think that's more than 5 years. Ayan, so napunta naman ako sa field work.
Okay.
So I've
So
been
when you
to
say project coordination, Charm, what is that in essence? Do you just point to people and let other people do the job? Are you like the orchestra, what do you call that, conductor? Or are you the one actually doing the tasks yourself?
Actually, depende po sa need. So, there are times na I am the supervisor. There are times na I'm the logistic officer. Literally, na nagbubuhat ako if it's needed. And there are times na one-woman show ako na I do the project conception, the pitching, execution, and the evaluation, the reporting. So, it really depends on what is needed.
That's right. So I asked you prior to us going on board, kumbaga, bago tayo isinalang sa ating session ngayon. Are you working as part of a big company or are you working as a solopreneur? Are you your own boss? Is this your own business or you are kind of like a networker? You don't really belong to a specific group, but you bring people and clients together through your events and your project coordination.
Apo, I'm a freelancer, so I'm a solopreneur. I consider this as my own business, but I'm also part of a community because the actual title that you will see on my LinkedIn profile is an engagement specialist and online community manager. So there, I also have collaboration works with other professionals in the industry. So depende kasi po sa need yan eh. So it's like we're a one-stop shop. If you need this one, we have several contacts. So yeah, in a way, it's also a networking work because you network with different professionals. Yeah. In various industry.
Mm-hmm. So
but it's really more of support services that we do.
Okay. Do you have staff working under you? Like, do you have your own assistants or do you have your own specific team? How do you, I cannot imagine how you as one person is a one-stop shop.
Okay, it's not really the staff, but I have colleagues that I work with. So, depende po kasi sa mga projects or sa mga kailangan ng mga clients. Like, if they need a full stack marketing activity, we have people there. But if it's just strategy focused, like they just need with Facebook advertisements, so, kaya naman po yun. Yun.
Okay.
So, we don't have an agency yet, but that's the direction that we're heading. But as of the moment, kanya-kanya po muna kami. Solopreneurs pa.
Okay. What made you decide to move from your corporate job to being your own, you know, being your own boss, being more independent, being a solopreneur? What was the point in your life where you said enough of that? I want to do things my own way.
Okay. So, medyo napa-advance pala yung story ko. So, after the corporate work, I work for a agency pala po. That's what the 5 years. But after the agency, meron na rin po ako ng mga on the side na yung consultancy work. So, but when pandemic kicked in, I had no choice but to shift it to the digital world. So that was a really turning point that I focused on this freelance work that I consider it like this is gonna be my bread and butter.
And how is it working for you in terms of, the cash flow when you pivoted to completely doing everything online? You don't have to give me figures, but just for the benefit of those who are intrigued with those shifting. So can you say, because you said this is your bread and butter now?
Sorry po, there was a time that it paused. The connection was bad. What was the question?
So you said that this was your bread and butter now. So my question was, how do you manage your cash flow now with all the work that you're doing compared to having like a corporate job before, which is not necessarily online during that time?
Mhm. Yeah, since I'm pretty much starting out, the cash flow is not that much, but I had a return on investment because I also invested in courses. I studied. You have to really study if you want to improve in a particular field. So yeah, and it can provide the basic needs of the family.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that means there is money in obviously doing online work.
Yes.
So because you didn't start this as your first career, and you obviously had a lot of experience prior to being online, what can you say were your strengths? Ano yung mga dinala mo from your previous work sa online world mo ngayon to make you feel that you are very equipped with it, notwithstanding na nag-aral ka talaga. Like you said, you studied, you invested. But what do you have already in place which makes you confident to be in the online world?
All right. It's really my passion. My passion to learn, my passion to communicate with people. Not to brag, but I'm a customer experience champ, meaning put it this way, for the entire year, ako lang yun dun sa line of business namin who was able to have a 100% customer satisfaction rating. So every month for the entire year. So it's really the passion, the the things that I give in with my work. So that's number one. Because if regardless of what challenges that will come along, if you have passion, if you know what you're doing and this is aligned with your values, that's gonna help you. So yun yung dinala ko na alam ko. And then yung ano ko po, engagement, I don't know. Sabi kasi nila, it comes out naturally for me to talk to people, to engage with people. So I guess that's it as well. I love learning, and talking to people is one way of learning from their experiences and learning.
Right. Mm.
Yeah, learning from their experiences, their struggles, and then you can exchange thoughts, and then you can personalize it, apply it to your own.
Yeah, and I can see that in your personality right now, considering that this is the first time that we've met each other, and that you are, like you said, you're willing to learn, you're open, you're open. I think one of the secrets to being an online worker is that you should be open to any opportunities, because you never know where those opportunities will take you, where it will lead you. So being open, lagi may kapalit na grasya yan, di ba? You're open to learning, you're open to networking, you're open to meeting other people. So in your line of work, do you have only Filipino clients, or do you have foreign clients, so people from other countries availing of your services?
This is what's good with online work. You can work work with people everywhere, not just local. You can also work with international. Anyone can avail of your service. You can also make it, yeah. Kasi you cannot serve everyone. That's what we were taught, and that's what I'm also sharing to other people who's listening here. If you're someone who wants to venture into online works, you have to find your market, how you will be able to help them, and you also have to find yourself, your values. You can give them a lot of things. You can offer them so much, but if that's not what they want, sayang lang.
Mm.
It's
Do
not a
they
match.
usually tell you what they want, or do you usually tell them what you can do? Okay ba yun eh?
Yeah.
Leading to what you just said. So normally, ano ba yung patakaran niyan? How is the work established between client and you as the provider of the service?
It always starts with a conversation, communication. So yeah, to answer your question po, I have set of questions already based from my experiences, and I have my worksheets and all. But I always start with what help they need with. Because from there, you will already be able to qualify if this is something that you can provide, or if it's better if you refer them to someone else. Yeah, and then from there on, they open up. So, where are they now? What are their challenges, and what are their aspirations? Where do they want to go? What are they heading to? What have they done to fix the problem? Are these effective? So those are some of the questions that I ask them.
Mm. And in any client project, ano ba nga usually length of time that you are engaged with a certain client? Because you cannot overdo it din naman. Like, you cannot have 25 different clients in a month. You'll kill yourself. So how do you do your own prospecting, and how do you know where's your sweet spot?
The prospecting kasi, that's different po kasi yung prospecting mo madami yan eh, and then masasala at masasala. But then the ideal when you're actually working with clients is 2 to 3. Now, it will also depends on the goal, how much income you would like to have in a month. So, depende pa rin po kasi yan sa tao.
Okay, so it's not always a short engagement. It could be like you're working with a client for a year on a project, or it could be longer, like you are a retainer consultant.
Yes.
So it just depends on what sort of things they're asking your help with, as you say.
Yes.
I've recently joined some virtual assistant online groups to learn more about what's happening at the moment in terms of this space. I can notice that there are a lot of newbies, people that want to venture into this kind of work, but don't really know where to go and how to start. What do you think are the top skills that a person needs to have, especially yung super newbies? The ones that have just probably left school, this probably is their first job, or those who, like you, want to transition but don't know how to. So what skills do they need to have, and what do they need to do first, so that they can assure themselves they will also succeed like you? Kasi maraming ano yan eh. There's a lot of, what do you call that? Fear of the unknown and uncertainty. Huh?
Actually, Miss Mimi, I still consider myself as a newbie kasi like, kailan lang ba ako online? Like, I think that was March. I studied mga courses nung March, so wala pang 1 year. But more than the skill itself, what I can advise is you have to find the market. Bakit mo sila gusto tulungan? I mean, what are the challenges that they're having? And you also have to identify ano yung mga values mo na, ano yung meron ka na. So if you're a newbie, I think it's kind of frustrating if you're also gonna compare your other self to yung people na have been in the industry for more than a year or so, kasi hindi mo alam kung ano mga pinagdaanan yan.
That's right.
So
each
ayun.
person brings, parang I'm reading from what you're telling me, is that each person will bring something of themselves to the table.
Yes.
That is unique, and you cannot compare yourself with other people in the same field. Am I correct in interpreting what you said?
Opo. That is right. So you find your unique factor on how you can help other people. And then more than the skill itself, kasi ito lagi kong sinasabi, the skill versus the will, I will go for the will. Kasi the skills, you can learn that one. But if you have the willpower, kahit na hindi siya maging successful the first time, you will look at the brighter side of things, and then bawi ka, matututunan mo yon, bawi ka, improve it. Yon.
That's right. So that's a good trait in itself. Yung sabi mo nga, you have to be persistent, And you at ano yung word mo, yung willing kang bumawi, no? Everything is a learning, parang
Yeah.
stepping stone to achieving better things about the work that you will do. So what do you think are the best aspects of your job as of now, that you've been here since how many months ago, last year? What's the one thing that you really really like about it?
What I like about engagement in communities, number one, you get to meet a lot of people, although it's online this time. And having meeting lots of people is you get to learn from a lot of people as well. So madami kang mentors, 'di ba? Because what may work for you may not work for others and the other way around. And
Mm,
then marami the support system. The support system kasi that's one thing about doing things online ngayon. You're on your own, di ba po? You have a task, you do it on your own, may mga ano and all. But if you have the community, that's why I fell in love with community management. It's really the support system. Now you feel that you're not alone. If you need any help, you have someone to run to and who's willing to give you help or insights on how to do things.
mm. I really thought initially that when you say community engagement, community management, you are in charge of, for example, a Facebook page and there's a community there. I thought your role was to really keep those people engaged with a certain, page, whatever it is, whether it's a product or whether it's a person. But from what you're telling me, it's really connecting the different professionals who provide a certain service. So parang it's a big network of people who help each other. Tama ba yon? Am I correct in assuming that that's one
Dep-
aspect of the work that you do?
ah, Tama rin po kayo in a way. But kasi when you say community, there are different types of communities depending on the goals. So, there are certain communities na ang members doon ay pure mga professionals, mga freelancers. There are communities naman na based on the skills. Like, they're into social media. So, I'm also part of that. So, it really depends on the goal of the community. And madami po talaga siyang types.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, that's also one of the roles of a community manager. You help them engage, you moderate, you create events for them to hype things. It's ang dami po kasing pwedeng gawin.
That's right. Kaya nga nakikita ko napakaraming aspects, facets, and layers of your work. So, which brings me to my next question. If you work with people who are similar in characteristics, wala bang competition yon? Like your specific title and your specific niche, wala ka bang heavy competitors? I know you said a while ago na because you're so specialized, you feel that you're on top of the game. But dun sa mismong community na you're keeping them engaged. For example, they're all VAs or they're all, social media people. How do you prevent them from this Filipino mentality of ako na lang, wag na kayo, or something like that, rather than tayo, let's band together and let's succeed as a group. How do you navigate those issues? Yeah.
There are community rules to start with po. That's why it's very important when you're a community admin or a moderator that you set the rules for your own group. Kasi this is normal because we have different cultures. And to answer your question, because I'm also part of a group we're in, the members are community managers.
Okay.
Ang dami po talaga, no? Ang daming layers nga. So, there is an admin and we respect the admin. And good thing about that is we learn the best practices from each other and then we exchange thoughts. So, kung ano yung maganda at nag-work sa kanila, we can apply it on our communities. And the other way around, pwede rin kami magbato na, hey, this works for me. You might want to try it.
That's right. Very interesting talaga. Ang dami ko natututunan sa iyo. So, I've asked you the question about the best aspects of your job. What are the more challenging aspects of your job? I don't want to ask or say the word worst, no? I don't think there's something worse. Lahat lang mga challenges. So, what are the most challenging aspects of your work right now doing everything online?
Doing everything online, number one is when your internet connection does not does not work. So yun, pinaka number one. But with the work itself, with community management, it's really how to bring out the people in their shells. Really help them reach out to the community members engaged, kung may mga layers po kasi yan or may mga process tayo na tinatawag, you cannot just say hello to everyone and expect them to be engaged the next hour or within a day or so. So there is a process to it. And lalo na kapag yung mga members mo ay mga founders, mga CEO of agencies and all, you cannot really expect them to be engaged and answer your posts as often. Syempre, may mga time restrictions din yan. So, yon. I'm not sure about other community managers, but those are the ones that I've experienced. But the good thing about that is, um, if you get to start a culture and if you get to cultivate it and na-imbibe na ng mga members, then 30, 40%, 50% of your work is almost done na. Kasi yun talaga, it's really building the culture. Yun yung pinakamahirap po sa communities.
That's right. So lalo na yan, sabi mo nga, one of the communities is the community of founders, of CEOs. Don't you feel a bit intimidated with managing a group like that?
Not at all.
On the other hand, you are the boss of that group because you are keeping them together. But how do the dynamics of power play into that kind of situation? Because of the honorific titles, if they're boss, CEO, manager, or director, and then here you are as the community engagement officer trying to keep a good culture within the group. I think I will find that intimidating. But how do you navigate that?
Actually, I don't find it intimidating at all. I find it very interesting. I'm challenged how to get them engaged. I just trust the process and then I let them be. So if they're busy, I don't force them. But we make sure that we post valuable content.
That's right. That's the most challenging thing, to post valuable content. I think I'm learning to do that now. I've just entered the group and obviously I'm lurking for now. That's my process. I can't be all out active in the first instance because I want to study who are the main players of the group before I feel my way in and figure out what valuable content I can contribute to the group as well. So like you said, different groups have different personalities and it's your job to make it really work for them. So the other question that I want to ask you is, do you still predict that this online career will continue to flourish given our current situation, or is this just a shiny object right now because of the pandemic? Baka mamaya when we go back to our old normal, you might be enticed to go back to your corporate career. What do you think? What's your prediction? What's going to happen to your online career?
Definitely it's gonna stay because even if we're already transitioning to the new normal again with all the changes happening, you still see people having online activities. In fact, there are a lot of changes. One of the things that I will post later for LinkedIn is how Elon Musk changed the entire messaging world with just a single post. So that's how powerful a community is. He just posted, use Signal. And then within hours, there was a surge of downloads of that particular app. So just imagine if you have a powerful brand and if you have a community behind you, ganun kalaki yung impact na magagawa mo for a particular business. Now, also as a social media examiner, because I've subscribed to their newsletter, they've also included building community into one of those strategies that they're helping people with in terms of yung mga trainings. So in terms, yes, definitely there will be changes. Like Facebook has been changing every now and then. Nag-ano na sila with WhatsApp and the privacy and all. Even Instagram, because of the EU updates sa privacy nila. There will be changes, but the role of the online communities or the online world will still be here because, digitalization is the next thing.
Yeah. And for you, for example, do you think you will be able to cope with all those changes, yung mga privacy na yan, yung mga sudden surge of new apps and new ways of doing things, new integration models, yung mga changes sa ating yung mga piracy and privacy laws and yung sharing and what sort of content. How quickly do you think this will change over time? Baka naman, I'm just reading how to do X tapos meron na palang bagong information, di ko pa masyadong na naiintindihan, and then it keeps moving and it keeps shifting. What's your opinion on that?
Definitely there will be changes. It evolves. But the thing is, if you are sure of yourself, again, balikan po natin, why you have to find out your why. Why are you doing this? Diba? Find out your whys. What are the skills you already have, or what are the skills you need? So may inventory ka na of yourself. And then if you already found a market, that's why research is very important in this particular field. You have to really research not just about your market, but about their needs, about the changes as well that might come into. Yeah, and of course, you have to research on yourself then, kasi hindi ka alam about yourself na dati, ganito ka lang. But when you were given this task, it could make you or break you. So there are things that are going to be, there are factors involved. Yeah, so you have to be prepared for it. And it's important that you also find a good mentor, kasi the scope, the time, and the budget. So dun lang mag-evolve yun. So kung you can do it yourself, that's good. Pero if it's gonna take a longer time, baka matabunan ka na ng ibang update. I mean, is that the best option to go? Yeah,
that's
just
right.
Some random
So
thoughts.
how many mentors have you had, Charm, in your own timeline since you started learning, since you started moving into the online space? Do you have a steady person that you consider your go-to, or were your mentors a part of the courses that you attended?
I have steady groups that I go to, and I also have I'm part of the Breakthrough Mindset by Coach Harry Singh. So he's my go-to person as well, in terms of he's a full stack marketing expert and a business coach and a life coach. So hi Harry Singh. I'm promoting your group here. Yeah, he's one of the person that is one of the person that I go to as well. And other than that, I also have the people in my community are so great. They are coaches themselves. So I'm so blessed.
And what about you? Do you have plans of being a coach, or are you already a coach in your own right?
Actually, the coach for me is, it's a title, but when I do interviews, I mean, when I do consultations, like I help out for discovery calls. In a way, I help them. So that's my way of sharing my coaching techniques to them. Yeah, but not really gonna venture into that scene yet. But if it's just the act of helping someone with their needs and all, so that's also part of the coaching session, because we help them identify their clarity. We help them narrow down their focus, which is one of the goals of a coach as well. So yeah, I guess I'm a coach on my own.
That's right. So sabi ko nga, I feel that you are, based on everything that we've discussed so far, it feels that you're more busy now more than you were before, prior to your online. Of course, people who didn't work in an online space have this very busy 9 to 5 and even extends more. Imagine if you're doing online, baka 72 hours in a day is probably not enough for you to do everything that you need. So the next question is, how do you balance your life and your work? The work-life balance. How do you, segregate them? How do you draw the line in the sand?
I have a very supportive family. So to start with, I've already told them what my intentions are. So this is a direction that I want to go to. That's why they support me. Alam na nila. Actually, galit-galit po kami sa house. Like, the husband works from home, the daughter has her online class. So kakain lang kami, doon lang kami mag-uusap-usap, and then kanya-kanya activities na kami. Tama po ito. Busy because you have prospecting, you have to learn. There are so many books that you have to read to update you of yourselves. Pero if you find time for everything, don't multitask, because it doesn't work. There's no such thing as multitasking. So you finish it one at a time.
Yeah, you just have to do a bit more, what do you call that? You have to be a little bit more creative in terms of your scheduling, so that you can fit everything in without feeling too harassed or too overwhelmed with the work that you do. O, diba? You still look very, very fresh, and you're always camera ready for your Zoom meetings. I think that's the way to go, and it radiates on your personality as well. So any last messages, Charms, to an aspiring freelancer, solopreneur, work from home professional, if they do want to be somebody like you? What should they do, and what's your final words for them?
Okay. This is not for the faint-hearted. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. This is not an easy work because you have to study the platforms. You have to just study this particular market, the skills. But if you're up for it, go for it. Find your whys, search for the market, look for their problems, and how you can help them. And that's a good way to start it. Because if you're gonna be everywhere, you're gonna get lost. But if you find your focus, your clarity, then you're on the right track.
Mm. Thank you, Charms, for that. That's very, very, what do you call that? Encouraging. So, if people want to get hold of you, aside from being on LinkedIn, how can they contact you? And can you give me a 1 minute or a less than a minute pitch about how you can work with potential clients out there?
Sure, sure. I help business owners, coaches, and course creators have engaged and build their communities. So communities are not just a good lead generating activity, but it also helps with the conversions and the retention. So if this is something that you have in mind, or if you need help with it, you can follow me at social media charms, or you can just click on my LinkedIn profile, Charms Trinidad, and we can hop on a call. My scheduling calendar is www.calendly.com/Charms Trinidad, and let's see if we are a good fit.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. I really value the time that you spent with me. I know, like I said, maybe 72 hours is not enough for you. I'm hoping that you see this opportunity to chat with me as a break, just like a lunch break, a quick lunch break in your busy schedule. So thank you, Charms, again for joining me today. So for those who have been tuning to us for quite some time now, if you have any stories or topics that you wish to feature in a future show, or Charms, if you have colleagues that you want to
Sure.
guest speak on the show, just tell them that I'm happy to talk to them and have this sort of conversation to help promote their work as well, and to be an inspiration to other people who want to venture into the same line of work that you have right now doing online. People can reach out to me by my email, which we will provide in the show notes for this episode. And I'm also on Facebook as well, and obviously on YouTube and through the Guerrilla Podcast Syndicate. So thank you everyone for listening. Samu't Sari, please support the show, and don't forget to like and subscribe to the other shows of Guerrilla Podcast Syndicate. Thank you, Charms, and I'll see you. I hope to see you in a future episode. Thank you. Bye.
If you find value in this episode, make sure you like and subscribe to be notified of new releases. If you have any questions or suggestions, please reach out to Guerrilla Podcast or send us an email at mimi@dinosocial.com. Spread the word and don't forget to tune in next time.